All right. Well, hello, tea family. How are you this evening? I'm so glad you're here. Please say hello in the chat or the comments, depending on where you're joining us. And know that today we are celebrating National Hot Tea Month. That is this month. It is January. And we are excited because we're talking about Winter's Kiss. Now, this is one of our January, February, March teas. We're going to kind of tell the story of how it started and where we came up with the idea for this particular tea and this particular blend, because Winter's Kiss deserves its own special moment. So I also wanted to give a quick update as everybody gets on. Remind you that as of January 1st, all our pricing online and in-person events will include sales tax. This has to do with the penny issues that are out there. There's a huge shortage of pennies since it's so expensive to make them. But we go through quite a bit, and we had to go to several banks, and we were able to get some, but not enough for the season. So we had to make the decision that we were going to go ahead and just everything will be even amounts, either 50 cents or $1, depending. We've basically figured out what the sales tax is on average and added that in there, and then brought it to the nearest, like I said, 50 cents or $1. So on that note, hello to Stephanie. She's enjoying Jade Chai. Very funny story, Jay, on the Jade Chai, Stephanie. I just finished the graphic for when I go ahead and have Jade Chai in the January tea blend showdown. And so I think it's funny that you're drinking that tonight. I literally just finished that one, but that'll be coming up. Trying to get a hold of those. So that's awesome. All right, well, like I said, we are going to start with Winter's Kiss, and let's start with brewing some. Now, first, this is, there you go. Look at those colors, so vibrant. You've got green tea, we have freeze-dried strawberries, we have rose petals, and we have cinnamon. And that is what's in this. And then I've got a twice as big cup, so I've already measured this out. I am using one of our newer basket infusers. I really like this one because I can fit big cups. Nothing else would fit in here, so I would have had to use a tea bag, but now I don't. I like the other one a little bit better still, but this is a good second one. So this is our tea, Winter's Kiss. This is what we're chatting about tonight. So I'm going to put it in here. Now, as this is a green tea, we are right around 175 to 180 degrees. And we're just going to pour that water right in there. There we are. All right. All right. And then we are going to set the clock for 2 minutes. Yeah, I think I can do it over here. So 2 minutes on the clock. Now, why are we setting this one for 2 minutes? Most of the time, when we talk about a green tea, it's for 1 minute. And the reason for that is that we have the freeze-dried strawberries in it. And we always want to let those freeze-dried strawberries have an extra minute to go ahead and rehydrate. So I've set our timer for 2 minutes. So it's 2 minutes for the first brew, 3 minutes for the second brew, 4 minutes for the third brew. I see Diane's here. She's drinking White Friday Special, and she's enjoying it hot. I think many of us are. It's chilly out.
It's snowy there.
It's snowy in New England, I understand, but it is not snowy here. I wish it was. The weather would seem warmer. But so one of the reasons why I really like Winter's Kiss is that it has that clean, bright green tea base, light enough to really let flavors of the other ingredients shine, but yet strong enough to kind of hold its own in the mix. Then we're adding, again, the freeze-dried strawberries. Now, these are ones that we got in season right as they came out, and we freeze-dried them ourselves to make sure there was nothing else added to them. Here's an unusual fact for you. When we freeze-dry a fruit, especially strawberries, we are able to preserve 98% of the antioxidants compared to fresh berries. So we don't lose very much. when you just do frozen or other things, you're not able to maintain all the antioxidants. And so freeze drying is one of the benefits of that. Also, it makes it shelf stable. One of the reasons why inside the packets of like white, wait, you got me thinking about White Friday special right there, Diane, but with the freeze-dried strawberries or any of the teas that have a fruit in them, we will put an oxygen absorber in there and make sure that it doesn't get too much because we really want to preserve it for when you open it. So single digits overnight where Diane lives. No, thank you. We've done that. Yeah, no. I know I talked last week. We had gone the previous week. It was 85 where we stopped. And then last week it was below freezing. Like it was well below freezing. And so it was quite a drop. So, all right. So this has gone off. We are now going to just take this cute little, I don't even remember where we got this, but oh, I know where we got it. Got a cute little store on our way home in Paducah, Kentucky. So there you go. That's where we were. But we never have too many tea stands because tea happens all the time at our house. And then as you can see, it is a nice light green color. You have a little bit of a pink tinge to it or a hue to it slightly. That's from the strawberries and the rose petals. So the better you than me. So those fresh freeze-dried, the fresh berries that we freeze dry, they really kind of are like a tiny winter wellness balm in there because you're bringing so many antioxidants to the table. And there's a lot of influenza out there, both A and B. Try and avoid that if at all possible. So the next ingredient is cinnamon. Now this is going to add some warmth, coziness, kind of a grounding to the other flavors. Cinnamon does something really magical when it's with green tea. It typically will boost sweetness without adding sugar, which is why a lot of times you don't need to add sugar to Winter's Kiss. Between the freeze-dried strawberries and that green tea and cinnamon mix, bringing that sweetness. And then we have the honey notes from the rose petals. You really don't need any other sweetness. Now, I do want to say that we only use what are considered edible rose petals. They are not for perfume purposes. These are going to bring gentle honey notes. They're not super overly floral. It is important to make sure that you are not using like a florist version because those are not going to translate into the same flavors and they're not necessarily made for you to eat. Sometimes they've been treated with chemicals or other things or even other ingredients that just to really make them look amazing in the floral arrangement. So just keep that in mind. There's a difference between edible rose petals and non-edible and florist ones. But I love taking this and just kind of smelling it like there because you have some sweetness and I can smell the green tea and that little warmth of the cinnamon. It's kind of like a winter's version of a deep breath. Something brings kind of the strawberries bring kind of a note to spring. So all right, Kim is here and she's straight Starlight Pear tonight. She is now, Kim, the real question is, did you open one of your new packs of Starlight Pear or are you finishing off the previous ones? So that's what I really want to know. But so yeah, Kim likes to hoard her tea until it can be renewed. So Winter's Kiss, basically, you could call it a wellness tea in disguise as deliciousness, but really, it's one of the things I really enjoy about it. And again, that special green tea and cinnamon together. Now, I know you all love the fun facts and unusual things. Green tea is actually harvested in cooler seasons. So they naturally are going to develop more L-theanine, and that's the compound that supports calm and focus and things like that. I need lots and lots of that, especially coming up at the beginning of a year. Kim, yes, I didn't have enough left for a whole cup. See? So she's bridging both the old and the new. I love it. Another unusual fact is strawberries and cinnamon. Now, this is a flavor combination that is not one that a lot of people think of, but they both share a flavor compound, which is one of the reasons why we put them together, called cinnamaldehyde. It is one of the reasons why they blend really beautifully, even though, like I said, you rarely see them together in recipes. They really both have that same compound, so it brings some harmony in the notes of the tea. Now, she's drinking it hot. I don't blame her. See, I mean, either way. Okay, so I wanted to kind of bring that out because a lot of people don't do it. So let me tell you the origin story of Winter's Kiss. We were starting to put blends together. We started this tea business. Well, we started making the blends earlier, but then we started to do it as a business, and we wanted to have, a tea here and a tea there. And there is a tea from a former tea room that no longer exists that I loved that they called their Valentine's tea. And I had some left. So Kim's not the only tea hoarder. I just typically use my teas much more now because I am left with just the teas that I can either reorder, because I think there's one for myself, and I know I was talking to one of my children, and there's one that they get that it's just too expensive for me to make. I can't make it for the same cost as the other teas. It would be significantly more. And so I order that one in, or she orders that one in. But I wanted to kind of try and recreate this tea, and I still had the label that had all the ingredients in it. But there was a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, yep, that's a flavoring. We're not going to do a flavoring. And it has this natural flavoring. And I'm like, again, we're not doing the flavoring. So it had red berries in it. And at that point, I liked the strawberry feel a little bit better. So that, and I wanted a green tea. Now, the original one wasn't a green tea. It was a white tea. One of the reasons why it was so expensive, but it was a white tea and it had strawberries. It didn't have the cinnamon in it, but it did have rose petals. And so very, romantic Valentine's Day. And it had some other things in there. When I started to kind of play around in the kitchen, I really was looking for something kind of like I don't know what to say, a base note to kind of tie it around. And we are big cinnamon people here. I know I have friends that are allergic to cinnamon. I have some people that don't care for cinnamon. I get it. But one of the things we really enjoy is cinnamon. So I was going to all my thoughts. What could I do? I could add this, I could add that. And I came up with the cinnamon, and then the flavor really stuck. And so this was originally created to be kind of a Valentine tea, but I really started enjoying it in the winter because it gave that fruity notes that reminded me spring is coming. Especially at that point, I wasn't as acclimated to Kansas in the Midwest in the really cold winters, having lived in Texas in the Southeast for decades. And so at that point, I was like, it's so cold. I want that warmth. I want that reminder that spring is coming. Now I just really enjoy it for a lot of other reasons. But okay. Kim likes the hoarding club. Yeah. I don't hoard as much tea as I used to, Kim, because most of the time I can make it now. There's only that one blend that I have that is just straight up too expensive to create. So other than that, I feel like I can make it. And I think that that's what ends up happening, is that I don't drink all the teas all the time. I still have my standards and my favorites. But another unusual fact, rose petals in tea. Again, I talked about this earlier, but they have to be organically grown. They cannot be anything else because, again, the roses grown for florists cannot legally be used in consumables, and that has to do with all the other additives. But rose petals have to be completely organically grown. There is no option for them to legally be sold as edible in the United States. So I kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier, but I wanted to bring it in why it's a fun fact. Okay, another thing that's really unusual is that Winter's Kiss, the flavor will change slightly as it cools. So the strawberry is going to become brighter while the cinnamon also becomes smoother. It's kind of like two teas in one. You can have it when it's first hot and then let it settle for a minute, and then the flavors will, the strawberry notes will get increased, for lack of a better word, and that cinnamon is going to become smoother. And it's one of the things that I like about it. We have something similar happen when we have the strawberry with the Harmony later on in the spring. But anyway. So I always tell people, cold brew will change it because you're infusing at different temperatures, but this one, it's just the notes. And part of that is, again, freeze-dried strawberries too. The more that they hydrate, the better it is. So, okay. All right. One more sip. And then we're going to talk about food pairing. So what are we going to pair this with? Okay. Yes. Handy.
From going from dehydrated to freeze-dried.
Oh, we did. We originally did these as dehydrated. And then we realized that wasn't going to give us a good year or more with the because they were rehydrated so much easier, and we went to the freeze dried, and that ended up helping them remain safe to consume for a longer period of time. That is true. We did do that. But we did have to completely adjust the recipe because you cannot do 1-to-1 for even fresh to dehydrated or dehydrated to freeze dried. But so let's talk about the perfect match. So we're going to look at items here for food pairings that have flavor harmony to start with. Warm brie with a honey drizzle. The brie is going to soften the cinnamon. It's going to allow the rose petal honey notes to really bloom. Forgive the pun. I had to throw it in there. But really, really situate. This is also one that if you have red berries, so that red berry cereal that's out there, or if you're having a charcuterie and you've got some red berries in there, or you're doing a fruit tray, that is going to bring out notes of the berries and the strawberries in here and the honey notes and things like that. That is a great pairing. You'll actually taste more of the flavors in both items. Now, another one is going to be a little more unusual. It is officially the winter season. And so many times we're home a little bit more, not going out, especially if it's yucky weather. And you might be staying home to watch a movie or something. Well, if you enjoy white cheddar popcorn, so popcorn, however you do your white cheddar on it, that sharp cheddar cheese is going to meet the delicate tea, and it's going to really work well. They're complementary flavors. They will bring out each other, but there's one you can sit, have your Winter's Kiss tea along with some cheddar popcorn. I recommend you try it the next time you're watching a movie. Again, you could go with the traditional simple butter cookie, a shortbread cookie. I know Girl Scout cookie season's coming up. If you've bought some of those trefoils or shortbread cookies, depending on which baker you're getting them from, that would really be here. The tea would be the star, and then against the buttery notes of the shortbread cookies, and there you are, perfect. So Diane loves the white cheddar popcorn. Yeah, see, and it will really work with this tea and bring out some of the flavors, and you'll be surprised. So those are harmonious, the little bit of contrasting, but those are pretty typical standard, but we're not just doing standard. I really wanted to talk about some unusual, more contrasting flavor tea for our food pairings. I really am kind of going with the opposites attract. And so I have a couple here that'll be unusual. One will make my son very, very happy. So if you have met my son in person, you'll know what his favorite kind of potato chip is because it's almost always near him. And those are the salt and vinegar potato chips. This is the perfect tea to enjoy with that. So Bubba McGee, not his real name, one of his nicknames from the family. Bubba McGee, if you're watching, which a lot of times you watch on the later on, this is the tea you want to enjoy with your salt and vinegar chips. The acidity really in the chips really makes the strawberries pop in flavor. And then again, you've got the honey sweetness notes, you've got the cinnamon smoothing it out. It's a great flavor combination. If you're brave enough or you love salt and vinegar chips, I urge you to try it. Another pairing that would be unusual for a lot of people, but spicy chicken wings. The cooling of the green tea is going to balance the heat on that. Again, you've got some sweetness and you've got the honey notes. Just a great combination. I saw steak goes great with any tea, according to our handy dandy assistant. Like, I know, but you can't have steak all the time. Like, that's just not how life works. There's things called checkbooks, and you actually have to have money in the checkbooks to go buy steak all the time. It's still pretty pricey. So, okay. Another one that a lot of people wouldn't put here is the super dark high cacao dark chocolate. Really bitter, dark chocolate, almost baking chocolate level. That is going to bring out the honey notes, really make them shine as well. It is not something, I know a lot of people say, well, dark chocolate, yes, or semi-sweet or milk chocolate and strawberries, that goes together. But really, you're also looking at the green tea and you're looking at the cinnamon and you're looking at the honey notes from the rose petals. So, all right. So I know you guys are probably still caught up on that first one that I suggested, the Winter's Kiss with the salt and vinegar chips. I know it's very unusual, and it's not something that we usually talk about. It's a very unusual chip that very few people like, but it's really worth a try. I think you'll enjoy the pairing if you enjoy those chips at all. So, okay. Anybody have any questions about Winter's Kiss tea? I have been chatting about different things. I just want to see if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat or the comments. And even if you don't think of it while we're live, it's okay to throw it on there later. We do read all the comments and respond. While that is happening, I do want to remind everybody we are in the middle of celebrating Hot Tea Month with our tea blend showdown. So the entire month of January, we are going to, on odd number days, we are going to have voting, which means it's a voting day tomorrow. And then even number days, we'll find out who won. Every time you vote for the winner, and that's the one it's picked, your name is put in a drawing. There's going to be some free tea. There's going to be some other gifts that are going to be handed out. We'll be announcing those later. I am excited about this. It's been fun. I've been having fun coming up with creative ways for the winner to announce the winner on the graphics and you know, just to keep it a little bit fun. And let's see, Justin's mini organic dark chocolate peanut butter cups would pair well. See, there you go, Diane, you're all set. You've got your white cheddar cheese popcorn, you've got your mini organic dark chocolate peanut butter cups, and you've got your Winter's Kiss tea. You are all set to read a book, watch a movie, listen to music, watch the snowfall, and not leave your house. I know. Okay, so fun fact about that, like in the tea showdown already, we had Ruby Chai and Sunlit Orchard go against each other. Now, Ruby Chai typically is always battling for #1 bestseller at any event we do. Overall, it's one of our most popular tea blends. I went into that competition going, I literally randomly just picked the teas that are going up against each other. Because otherwise I could rig it, and I don't want to rig it. I wanted it to be a genuine tea showdown. So I literally picked it, and I was like, Sunlit Orchard. You're talking a caffeine free. A lot of people don't like the ginger, and it's apple. It's an apple ginger blend. It's caffeine free. I'm like, well, at least it's caffeine free versus caffeine free. But I thought, there's just no way it's going to get completely like Sunlit Orchard's going to get completely killed. No, I am telling you, on Facebook, it was a dead heat. Mostly because y'all love Sunlit Orchard, which is not a bad thing. I went to YouTube and it was like about even. Instagram is where we decided. I think I only got like one vote on Threads, and like, so Instagram is what actually put it over. But I'm telling you, it was so close. I was on pins and needles going, oh my gosh. I kept checking my phone and my computer as I was trying to get other work done that day to see who was in the lead. So if you notice that my comments were coming a little bit quicker, is because I kept refreshing because it was so close between the two of them, which is unusual because although Sunlit Orchard does really well at events, it is not typically does as well as Ruby Chai. But I was shocked. Just barely edges out. In fact, I had to change the graphic. I forget what I'm using it for something else. I think it stomps or crushes or something, or knocks them out of the ring or something. And I had to be like, no, because they just basically edged them out. Like, it was just a bare win. So I couldn't make it seem like it was this huge thing. So I had to change that. But I was shocked. So who knows? Anybody could win. Anything could happen. But there's another one going up tomorrow. I'll be putting that up in the morning so everybody can kind of look through the day, make your vote. I mean, it matters. I know one person was very disappointed. I'm not calling out the name, but they're very disappointed that they voted for the one that lost twice in a row. And they're like, I'm not going to have any entries at the end of the month for the free tea. I'm like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. There's lots more opportunities to join. Okay. Anyway, so it's just a fun thing. Celebrate Hot Tea Month. We will be starting once we get through the first rounds. Then we'll start drawing some names and giving some prizes out all the way through. So anyway, did we see any questions come in? No questions. Oh, but no, everybody's like knows what to consume for food, how to brew Winter's Kiss. No other questions for me. All right. I'm really excited to see who the winner is. Since Ruby Chai did not do as well, I'm really interested to see who wins. So he lost each time, and now he has goals to keep his streak. I tell you what, if he actually pulls that off, and I hope he feels better soon because I know he's really not feeling well, but if he can pull that off and vote incorrectly or vote for the tea that doesn't win every time, I will have a special prize just for him doing that. And it won't be the death die. He's a friend of ours, and we play a game, and as a Christmas gift I gave him a small little die, and it's called the death die for when they're trying to figure out if their character is going to win or lose or live or die. And so it won't be that, it will be, but I will definitely, if he can do it, if he can pick the blend that doesn't win every time for the whole month, I will grant him a prize for that. How about that? He'll be the biggest loser. I think it's a different TV show, so won't go there. But all right, well, that's all. If we don't have any questions, I want to say thanks for joining. I would look at my notebook and see what we're talking about next week. Oh, I know what we're talking about next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about Starlight Pear. So if everybody wants to be ready for that, we are going to be talking about Starlight Pear. And that was one of the other things as we tie up, I did want to mention, we are going to be highlighting a tea blend or one of our products every week. Now, and a lot of times you'll see me drink, but we're talking about other things. At the same time, we will be highlighting. So a lot of the reels that you'll see go out this week will have to do with Winter's Kiss. I know I've done some for the mocktails because I wanted to get into the holiday season is big for people making mocktails because so many people don't want to drink and drive. So I tried to get a lot more out there, but I've got a couple of other things. Probably won't be a mocktail for Winter's Kiss since I've done a couple of those, but there will be other things about Winter's Kiss. So you'll see a theme each week with the reels. Those are the words that I'm trying to do. The shorts / reels, depending on how you see it. They go out on all of our social media. So whatever they're called on that social media is what they are. So, all right, thanks, Kim. Let him know that he could still win a prize for this, but he's got to guess correctly every time. And there's a lot. We won't be announcing the big, huge winner we'll do a big drawing on the 31st for that, because the last one, it would typically be announced there. So we'll announce the winning tea on January 30th. And then on January 31st, we'll announce who won the big prize. And I'll probably show you what that big prize is. I've been kind of putting together a little package. So, all right. Other than that, I will see you all next Sunday at 6 p.m. I hope you have a warm and safe and wonderful week. And have a good one, everybody. We'll see you later.